Community Motors West Side, the GM Superstore next to Cinema West. Community Motors of Mason City, we give you more.
I don't expect this to go anywhere tonight. I'm not being psychic or anything, but because the new council, wants to discuss, what they're, But my research just tells me that this is from an enterprise fund, the water. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, if I remember right, Brent. That this is from the water fund. It's a position. I think if there's other positions that aren't going to be filled, there's probably more. They might be more easily done. I mean, through attrition, but. This one here, I think, is a pretty important position, and just my conversation around, I would support moving forward on it. And when you guys want to right-size government after the first year and put everybody in their place, have at it. That's your job. But when I read the minutes of this was just postponed to November 1st. Well, then it's come and gone. So it's a little housekeeping thing for me, and I support filling the position. I don't think it's going to raise my taxes or lower my taxes. Is it, Brent?
No.
Right, so I'm just saying, let's fill the position. By the way, this council's made a priority for jobs. This is a good job. This is going to be a good job for somebody, and I support that. So I'm okay with it. Now, if it was going to impact my taxes, I could say let's waive it until next year, but I just don't see where that's happening here, at least my discussions. So I think after the first year, Mayor, your dream of right-sizing, you and Travis Hickey, Councilman Hickey's dream of right-sizing government is going to be your call. And if nobody likes that, they can come to that microphone for 5 or 10 minutes and express themselves. But I think we should move this forward. It's a good job. Let's put somebody to work.
All right, thank you, Mr. Weaver. Mr. Nelson, I believe.
Brett, do you mind comment on it?
Sure. Well, based off the information that we were provided the last time when we looked at postponing this, I've had discussions with Mark Ram about this, and he is working with his staff to gather data, reference how this is impacting their operations. And it's only been a month. And in that time frame, I think that we've seen some things, but I think the trend is not there, and I think that the information still needs to be gathered. So for me, it's something that I've instructed him to continue to do and analyze the information. And we know that there are impacts that are occurring, but we want to make sure we have the full data before we move forward. And I don't think you can do that in 1 month.
I know it's hard.
Hey, Mr. Weaver, this is Mr. Nelson.
No, I thought I was still on my same way.
No, thank you, Mr. Nelson, for the question. Anybody else down here? Anybody else down here?
Hold on.
Mr. Hickey.
I guess I was the one that initially moved to postpone this and was accused of micromanaging Mr. Trout, which I think you're doing now here at the moment. And obviously you haven't done your homework on this one because you haven't talked to Brad. I'm going to make a motion to move to postpone until Brent's ready to follow through and make a decision on this.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Is there any discussion on the motion to postpone?
Just point of order. Seeking understanding, can we place a motion on the table when there's one on the table currently?
My understanding of the way this happened was Mr. Weaver made a motion to make the hire, which is exactly the same one that was made previously, and Mr. Hickey simply made a motion to postpone. If you were voting this down, you'd be essentially saying that you're not hiring this person, is my understanding. So Mr. Hickey apparently,
Okay.
if I'm hearing him right, and if
No, he's making a motion.
he's making a
so we don't have
motion to
make a
simply
decision at this
continue to
point.
postpone until the information or trend, as Mr. Trout is saying, is
Okay.
established.
Thank you for the clarification.
Is that, did I get that?
Yeah, yeah.
That's my thought. So we have motion and a second. Is there, Mr. Hickey, do you have anything on the postponement?
No.
All right. Who had the second? Ms. Silver, do you have anything on the second?
I did, and I'm
Okay.
going to wait for Mr. Trout.
No problem. Mr. Weaver, I believe you want to speak on the...
Yeah, I just wanted to say what I said right off the bat. I don't expect this to go anywhere. It's political. It's okay. I mean, patience is a virtue.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Anybody else on the motion to postpone?
So, yeah, just to clarify, I think you're conceding that sometimes it's okay to put things on the agenda to make a point?
Okay.
Because I didn't gather that from our previous discussions this evening. It's curious to me. Thank
All
you.
right. Anybody else? All right, we've got a motion and a second to postpone the motion made to make the hire. And the clerk call the roll.
Hickey,
Yes.
Solberg,
Yes.
Tornquist,
Yes.
Weaver,
No.
Marsters,
Yes.
Nelson.
No.
All right, motion passes. Thank you very much, council. We can conclude our business, so we'll be adjourned. Number 21, administrator recommending approval, addendum A. A is the addendum resolution approving and authorizing execution of the development agreement by and between the city of Mason City Interstate Power and Light Company regarding the construction of their new operation facility in the Mason City, Iowa area. Did you want to open with anything, or just want a motion ready to roll?
Let me give a couple comments here. You know, we're dealing with, the first thing we're dealing with is a development agreement, which is an agreement related to the fact that Alliant Energy will construct an operations center somewhere within the community. And if they do not, that they will, they'll allow the city the opportunity to end the franchise at a 5-year window. And those dates are established. So that's the first thing. The second thing is actually second and third really nearly are the same, which is the approval of one electric franchise and the second a gas franchise. We've looked at each of the parts, made changes, reviewed with council, and at this point, we feel this is the language that we have negotiated out over the last 2 months.
All right, thank you very much.
And I recommend approval.
And you recommend approval, all right. Is there a motion on A? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Mr. Marsters? No, sir. Mr. Tornquist?
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, seeing none, clerk call the roll.
Marsters,
Yes.
Tornquist,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Solberg,
Yes.
Hickey.
Yes.
All right, thank you, council. B.
All right, Max Weaver, 317 20th Southeast. Alex, you want to sit up here and see what this is going to look like? Hey, Alex, you know what I mean? Now listen, you know, the muzzle gets taken off after the first. The leash and the muzzle and the threat of lawsuit goes away. Now my First Amendment becomes my priority. No, I just want to say this, Brent. We sat through another 3-hour meeting tonight over there with this gasification plant. I'm telling you, there's huge issues there. And I understand they postponed it. That's what they did. They postponed it. So they couldn't, it was a 4-to-1 vote, but they postponed it because they're understanding the gravity of it all. Mayor, you were inappropriate laughing tonight when a couple people were speaking. That was wrong. But anyway, if you want to address that, you can come up here after me. But listen, here's what I want to say tonight, what you heard, Brent. Seriously, you had some people come into your office a couple weeks ago and say, hey, we'd like to bring a third party in. They're willing to pay for that third party. They got a couple $1,000, maybe $3,000, and they just want to bring another third party in instead of Alex Fassbender. Alex Fassbender, from my connections, and I'll say what I'm going to say, he's a Howard Kahn protege at the Department of Energy. He's worked all over the place. He's got a Lockheed background, and so does Joe Yavorsky. But he sat up here and he said yes to everything. He gave you, it made you wonder. Here's what made you wonder at that town hall meeting. He had an answer for everything. Well, then why isn't one of these things built? Really, that's really the truth. Why isn't one of these built? He had an answer for everything that they could go ahead and do it. Well, then why do they have such a hard time building one? Now tonight we had another guy come in that should be a lesson to all of you. The EDC, the North Iowa Corridor, and Brent, yourself and your staff don't know everything. Here's a company that bought 1 acre of land from Golden Grain, paid for it, got a development agreement with Golden Grain and a purchase power agreement with Alliant, all without the staff and anybody knowing about it, or Brent Willett or anybody. So you don't know everything. Well, he also lent some expertise to the issue. He actually said they only have 1% of the information they need to make a decision. He's been doing it 15 years, worked with Duke, worked with Texaco, worked with all kinds of people around the industry. He's got a thing he's doing with energy thing with Waterloo that's working out, with Tyson Foods and the City Council of Waterloo. It's all done. You know, I don't know why we don't. Here's what I'm saying to you guys, and specifically to you, Mayor. I know you want jobs. We all want jobs. I support jobs. Everybody does. But at what cost? When you have that kind of public showing up and asking serious questions, and you've got to postpone the meeting once, or table it till November, then you postpone it from that in lieu of a town hall meeting, then you come back and meet again and you postpone it again. And there's so many questions and people, young and old, showing up saying stuff, letters being written. Come on, guys. Do what you're supposed to do. The safety net, we count on you. There's an issue here. People are concerned about it. So all I'm saying is, tonight what I heard is a lady sat up and said, look, we want to bring a scientist here to give you another side of the issue. We'll pay for it. But they want you council members, you newly elected guys, and you, city administrator and mayor, to sponsor it. Not pay for it, sponsor it so we have another town hall meeting where the council members show up and get the information from, not Alex Fassbender, who worked at the Department of Energy with Howard Kahn, and who Yavorski talked about. That's his go-to guy at the Department of Energy, Howard Kahn, at the landfill board meeting. It's all, and Brent, I asked you, where'd you get Alex Fassbender's name? You said from Howard Kahn, and you were told to call the Department of Energy. Who told you to call the Department of Energy? Joe Yavorski. Right. Well, you got this group of citizens that had come in and said, look, we'll pay $2,000 to bring a scientist in from New York, California, that really knows and has impeccable credentials. Just sit there with the DNR and take all the questions again. And let's see how it shakes out. What are you afraid of? Information is power. Alex, we expect that from you. Actually, Alex, I think we're going to ask you to put it on the agenda for the first meeting. We want you to represent us and put it on the agenda to hire, to bring, we'll pay for it. But you bring in, you facilitate it so we can talk about it. There's no hurry here. Because I said this before, and I'm not lying to nobody. The landfill board meets January 12th. They're going to hear a presentation from Mr. Hartog from Foth Engineering. They're not going to vote that night. They maybe might vote in March. So, there's time on our hand. At the beginning of this, we had all the time in the world. Even Brent Willett said, this is the thing that we really got to cross the I's and dot the T's. He's on record as saying that. The last meeting, we got to hurry up. What was he using? We got to move it forward. The time is not on our side. Well, it is on our side. This is our community. We all live here. Now, here's what I got to say to Brent and the mayor and to Mr. Willett. Seriously, you guys reside here. Put 60 years in like I have. This is my community. 317 20th Street Southeast, 423-6888 is who I am, and I live here. My garage is full of crap, not a car. If you're not going to be here in 2 years or 3 years, please be gentle on us, will you? That's what leadership is. Thank you.